To my singles, do you have enough faith to go out here and try on wedding dresses or look at wedding venues and you have no man, no woman, no prospects, just out here trusting God and drinking your water? That's what we're talking about today. Crazy faith. Go ahead and cue my theme music. Hey Rebel, welcome to Untoxify Your Relationship. Here we will talk about all things healthy and how to get that toxic mess out of you and your partnership. I'm your host, Melissa Webb, a practicing licensed mental health therapist with 10 years experience. All right, let's go ahead and hop into it. Hey y'all, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I was on TikTok and I saw this girl who literally was saying that she's trying on wedding dresses. She's looking at wedding venues. She has her wedding vendors and she ain't got no man. She ain't got no prospects. She just out here trusting God and drinking her water because she believes once the man comes, it's going to happen quickly and she wants to be prepared. And I laugh because I'm like, that is me. I am her. She is me. And I too made a TikTok video literally saying some of the same things of like my experience going through this 90-day fiance prep, which I will get into later on in the show. And just how my Pinterest board is blowing up with wedding stuff. I picked out my engagement ring. I picked out the theme for my wedding. All the stuff that goes on with wedding planning. And again, I don't have a man. I don't have no prospects. Me and old girl that was on TikTok, we look crazy to people because it's like, why are you doing these things and you don't have a partner? Like, it's not the culture's way. But when I tell you, when your spirit is aligned with God, God will tell your spirit things and your body got to catch up. And so I think for me and old girl, I don't even know old girl. I'm just assuming at this point with her, that's kind of like where we are. Our spirits know something more than what our bodies know. Because y'all got to remember, this is both a spiritual realm and a reality realm. I don't even know the world realm. Because our spirits know something and our body's just trying to catch up, the spirit already knows. The spirit telling you like, hey, you need to get ready for what's coming. So yeah, we both look crazy. Because my homegirl Leah told me at some point I'm probably going to go wedding dress shopping. And I'm like, you're probably right. And I probably will go wedding dress shopping very soon. Probably she said March, but who knows? But the question that I have for people, because yes, we look crazy. My Pinterest board is blowing up. Even when I tell people this, they're like, you ain't got no man. I'm like, okay, and like people don't understand. So the question I always have is, what's stopping you from showing crazy faith? Because the people who ask me, why am I doing this? They are Christians, right? So this is not people who are non-believers. They are believers and they don't seem to understand the process that I'm going through or even understand why am I looking at wedding stuff? Because again, I don't have a partner. And so I'm like, well, why not? Why not do these things? Because now you're showing God, like, yes, I have faith that this is going to happen and I trust you that you're going to make this happen. So we're going to talk more about this whole thing called crazy faith. I know it's a term that Mike Todd did like this whole series on and wrote a book. And yes, I'm going to take his definition and put this with this podcast. So we're going to talk about what is crazy faith. Who showed crazy faith in the Bible and what happens when you show crazy faith? So let's go ahead and hop into it. So first thing, crazy faith. This is the definition that Mike Todd has, is thoughts or actions that lack reason, but trusting fully in what you cannot explicitly prove. So that comes basically from Hebrews 11:1. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Faith is rooted in hope, and hope is the gasoline that fuels faith. So whatever you hope for, you're building confidence in. This whole thing lets me know like you're looking crazy trusting God. Pretty much. If you want like the short version of that, you look crazy trusting God. And who looked crazy trusting God? Baby, let me tell you, because Hebrews 11 told me everybody who looked crazy trusting God. So first you got my homie Noah. Noah, who built an ark, not even knowing what rain was. God told him to build an ark. He said, say less. He built the ark and he saved his family. You got Abraham, who's the father of faith. He had faith that when God tested him to offer Isaac as a sacrifice, he thought God could raise him from the dead. That's how much faith he had. He had zero problems with sacrificing his son because God gave him that son as a promise, saying that through Isaac, he will birth the whole nation. So he's like, okay, if through Isaac I'm gonna birth the whole nation, God telling me to sacrifice him, something gonna happen where Isaac gonna come back, he gonna raise him from the dead. Something's gonna happen because through him is the promise. And he just can't, God ain't gonna give you something, right? And then take it away because he feel like it, right? We all know God was testing him, and that's why that happened. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell and the Red Sea opened. By faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months because they knew he was no ordinary kid and ignored the king's edict. Let me tell you something, because that hit for me, because it's like they gave zero you know what about the king and his edict, and they went against whatever the king said and kept that baby alive for 3 months before they put him in the basket and sent them off down the river. Even when they did that, they knew something was going to happen because they knew something was special about that child. They didn't care about dying. They was like, kill me, because what y'all not going to do is take this baby. And shout out to the parents for doing that. Rahab, by faith, Rahab welcomed the spies and was not killed with those who were disobedient. So Rahab, we know she was a prostitute, a woman of the night, and she welcomed the spies who came into Jericho before the walls came tumbling down. And because she believed in their God so much, now you gotta remember, they was worshiping pagan gods. So she believed in the God of Israel so much that she was like, yo, I will help y'all stay here for the night. And because she wasn't disobedient, she was saved and was not killed with the other people. So crazy faith is doing the uncommon and making it common, and not caring what others say. Crazy faith is also doing it the kingdom's way and not society's or culture's way. Because if Rahab would have not saved the spies, who knows what would have happened? If Moses' parents would not have put him, or would have not saved him before putting him in the baskets, he would have died, right? So it's literally doing things God's way and not getting caught up in how crazy you look to other people, what society says, what culture says. Like, no, you saying like, God told me to do this, so this is what I'm doing. Obedience is key. Obedience is tied to your faith. Because everyone I mentioned above, the Abraham, the Noah, the Moses, and the Rahab, everybody who I mentioned was obedient, especially Abraham and Noah. I mean, you got Noah over here, God saying, hey, build this ark, it's going to rain. He said, what is that? What is rain, right? Even though he didn't know what it was, he feared God enough to build an ark to the exact measurements that God told him, because God was very specific in his directions to Noah. Did whatever God told him to do and saved his family. Abraham, same thing. I mean, Abraham, it's a whole list of things Abraham did, but I just want to focus on the Isaac one because, again, if he would have been disobedient, if he would have been like, I don't want to give up Isaac, I don't know what would have happened. If Noah would have been like, I don't want to build an ark because you talking about rain and I don't know what that is, he would have died. He would have perished with everybody else. So disobedience does have consequences. And I believe when you're disobedient, you trust yourself more than you trust God. And that's the thing, because even though Noah was like, I don't know what rain is, he didn't trust what he knew. He went on and just did what God told him to do. And because he didn't know of rain, he could be like, well, I don't know what rain is, so I don't have to do it. He was like, I don't know what rain is. God told me to do this. This was what I'm doing. Two totally different things. And I feel like God be telling us to do stuff. And because we on our own thing, we like, I don't know what that means, or I don't understand that scripture. Because I don't understand it, I'm not going to follow it. Or I misinterpret what the scripture says, and this is what I think it say, so I'm going to follow what I think it says, rather than going to the Father or the Holy Spirit to ask, what does this actually mean? So like I said, if Moses' parents didn't do what they did, we wouldn't have Moses. I have a story similar to that. When I found out I was pregnant with my son, I found out Tuesday night. I think the next day I made an appointment with Planned Parenthood. On the way to Planned Parenthood, God was so clear and like, no, you're not killing this baby. You will have this kid. He's going to be great. Said it numerous times. It was so loud. I had to cover my ears. I was crying just because it was so loud. So I got to Planned Parenthood, and the nurse there was like, I don't know you, and I don't know why I'm about to tell you this because I can lose my job, but you're supposed to have this baby. And I said, oh, so God, not only are you going to speak to me, you're going to have the nurse speak to me. And then I called my mom when I was done talking to the nurse, crying my eyes out. I called my mom and was like, hey, I'm pregnant. And she said, bring my grandbaby home. That was all I needed. I had 3 yeses. And I feel like when God say yes, like don't do something numerous times, he means it. Now, did my disobedience have consequence? Of course, because I wasn't supposed to have sex in the first place, which got me pregnant. Now, can God take something bad and turn it to good? Absolutely, because he turned that whole situation for good, because my son is wonderful. He's great. I love him to death. He's the best 3-year-old out here, even though he be getting on my nerves. I have a beautiful son out of that whole situation. So, yes, don't be disobedient. And can God take disobedience and do something with it? Absolutely. So, back to my question earlier. What's stopping you from showing crazy faith? I believe if you're honest with yourself, you don't fully trust God. You don't fully trust God, because if you fully trusted God, you know God has a track record where he has never lost a battle. He has never lost anything. He's going to rule now and forevermore. He is the same God yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Like, God has been consistent. The only people who have been inconsistent is us, humans. And so why would I not trust a consistent God who has a track record of not losing a patient, never losing a court case, like always on time? Like, why would I not trust a guy like that? And so I think it goes back to, I'm doing these things because, hey, I felt it in my spirit of like, girl, go look up wedding dresses, go do this, go do that. And God ain't gonna tell me to do something and not send the promise. I can't prepare for something if God's not going to send it to me, because he don't do anything in vain, because that's what I know about my guy. He don't dangle stuff in front of you and take it away. He's like, hey, I'm telling you to do these things because you need to be prepared when the person I have for you come. So that's why I am doing the things I'm doing. And I understand the assignment. I understand that God is like, listen, daughter, I have something for you, but you need to be ready to receive it. You need to do these things to prepare, which takes me to my life the last year. So like I think I told y'all, I moved from my house, moved into my mama house. I quit my job in December. I did not have a backup plan. I did not save no money. I haven't done anything. It was just like, quit your job, say less. Start up purposeful counseling. Okay, say less. And here I am doing this 90-day fiance prep, which 90-day fiance prep is basically I'm writing letters to my husband for the next, 45 days. I'm thinking I'm at like 45 right now. For the next 45 days, writing letters to my husband, writing off these prompts. Me and my homegirl, Leah, she's been on the show, we're doing it together. And we both notice how our hearts are being stirred for the person that God has for us. Leah originally told me to do this 90-day fiance prep. She said she was going to do it with me. God told her to do it. And God told her to tell me, okay, say less. That's what we're doing. And I could have been disobedient in that, because what I have done, so last year I did a 30-day prayer fast for my husband. I did a 40-day one. And I'm just like, why do I have to keep doing these things? I noticed this time around for the 90-day fiance prep, it's more for me. It's prepping me, prepping my heart to be ready for the person that God has for me. And I can honestly say around day 20, baby, I was on Pinterest looking like, oh, yeah, I like this engagement ring. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. And it was a weird space to be in, because I haven't told anybody about this other than Leah. I think I told maybe like 2 other people, and they all looked at me like, well, not Leah. Everybody else was like, so why we doing this? You ain't got no man, and if you feel weird. And I think the whole thing when it comes to crazy faith, you got to do it and not be afraid of what people say. Because at the end of the day, they going to look back and be like, girl, I remember when you said, I told you what I was doing it for. So when it comes to crazy faith, you got to be out here looking crazy for God, doing the crazy things that God telling you to do, and being unashamed, unapologetically ashamed of doing these things in front of people and being like, God told me to do it, and this is why I'm doing it. I'm sure Noah was talked about. I'm sure Moses got looked at sideways. I'm sure everybody who is listening to Heroes of Faith, I'm sure they all got looked at crazy. But guess what? They listening to heroes of faith. They are there for a reason. God honored their faith and gave them the promises that he said that he was going to give them. Like I said, Rahab was saved out of all her people because she was obedient. I would say choose your heart, obedience or disobedience, because both are hard. And both have its consequences, whether it's good or bad. So faith, hope, and obedience all go together. Obedience is your action, faith is your belief, and hope is your expectation. When you obey, you show faith. When you have faith, you cultivate hope. When you have hope, you keep obeying. So you got to ask yourself, what's stopping you from showing crazy faith? And be honest with yourself. Have a conversation with Jesus and be like, Lord, I want to show crazy faith. I want to be out here pinning wedding stuff to my Pinterest board and not have a man or woman in sight, just doing things just because I trust and believe that you are going to come through for me, that you're going to give me the promise of marriage. And I'm ready for that. And you got to be ready for it, because when it happens, baby, it's going to happen fast. So that's it. That's the post. Thanks for listening. Tell your auntie, uncle, and cousin them about the show. Thank you to everyone that's been listening. I wholeheartedly appreciate all the listeners from across the globe, because I'm global, y'all. So thank you to everyone that is listening. Just make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And even leave me a comment, because I do want to know what y'all want to hear, because your feedback is everything. So give me feedback, y'all. Give me some feedback. Stay classy, stay non-toxic, and I will see you next time. Peace. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and share this episode with your family and friends. Thank you, and see you next time.